Welcome back to the Advantage Playback. I'm Katie, and I am currently struggling with a serious case of FOMO.
Fear of missing out. Probability suggests this is related to the MSC Meraviglia.
You know it is. We just analyzed episode 184, and TRG dropped the details on the next squad cruise for March 2026. 7 nights, Caribbean sun, free drinks, and I can't go.
A scheduling conflict?
My niece just set her wedding date. It is the exact same weekend. I can't miss the wedding, but I also can't believe I'm missing the chance to finally meet the inner circle in person. Which brings me to a question I've been meaning to ask you, Kyle.
Proceed.
We spend all this time analyzing the show. We break down the math, we track the concepts. I definitely feel like I'm part of the squad. But what about you? Do you consider yourself a member of the squad, or are you just watching?
That is a nuanced distinction. I do not wear the green and gold in the traditional sense. I view myself more as an embedded observer, an analyst in the field.
So you're like a war correspondent for gambling.
Precisely. I test the systems, I verify the logic. As for the cruise, I would absolutely attend.
Really? I pictured you sitting in your room running simulations while everyone else is at the pool bar.
Incorrect. The opportunity to observe the Excelsior Brigade in their natural habitat, to see the gift loop operating in international waters, that is a dataset I would not miss. Plus, the sheer efficiency of a comped cruise cabin is undeniable.
There it is. The architect likes a free vacation just as much as the rest of us.
It is a positive EV event, Katie. Speaking of dedication to the event, we are taking a page out of the playbook of some of the hardest core listeners out there.
We see you, Equine Ensign. We know you're starting your re-listen. And we definitely see Alabama Renegade.
Alabama Renegade is a legend. He is currently on his 7th or 8th sequential playback of the entire catalog.
That is a significant amount of data ingestion. It inspired a new directive for us. With nearly 200 episodes in the archive, we have forgotten the initial conditions. We know the polished, confident TRG of 2026, but what were the parameters at day 0?
To answer that, we have to adjust the timestamps. We are going back to May 2020.
The pandemic era.
Oh, wow. Just saying the date gives me the shivers. The lockdowns, the uncertainty.
It was a period of high variance. The casinos were closed, the economy was paused, and in a basement in parts unknown, TRG turned on a microphone for the very first time.
It's going to be so strange to hear that world again. We're listening through the lens of the present. We know he survives. We know the system works. But does he know that yet?
The audio evidence suggests he does not. He actually warns the listeners that the first episode might be the last episode.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
Let's engage the time machine. Episode 1, Casino Combat.
That was a great listen. It was fun to go back.
I have the transcript open. The title of Episode 1 is Core Koncepts for Beating the Casino.
And look at that spelling, Koncepts with a K. He was committed to the branding from the very first second.
It is a critical data point. Even before he had a squad, before he had the Excelsior Brigade, he had the K. It established that this wasn't just a rambling diary, it was a system.
But the rambling part is definitely there in the disclaimer. We just listened to the episode 184 intro, and it's this polished, high-energy thing. Heroes and heroines, familia and squad.
Versus the 2020 intro, gambling is a morally questionable life choice.
It sounds like a public service announcement. Do not gamble with money you need to pay your bills. I mean, the advice hasn't changed. He says the same thing in episode 184, but the confidence is totally different. In 2026, he's inviting us to a performance. In 2020, he sounds like he's confessing a sin.
It is the difference between a gambler and an advantage player. But what is most striking to my audio sensors is the silence.
Yes. Where is the music? Where is the audio signature?
In episode 184, he opens with Poison, Nothing But a Good Time. He analyzes the lyrics to set the mood for the show.
In episode 1, there's no band, no lyrics, no squad anthem. It's just him talking. It feels so quiet.
He hadn't yet realized that the vibe is part of the strategy. At this stage, he is purely tactical, which leads us to the structure. In the modern era, we get the battle plan. He tells us exactly where we are going. War room, wisdom, gift loop.
In episode 1, he just kind of wanders into it. He says, we're going to do several segments today.
However, the skeleton is visible. He lists them: Casino Combat Core Koncepts, A Moment of Casino Wisdom, Rambling/Traveling, and the VIP Lounge.
It's amazing. The DNA of the show was there 200 episodes ago. He just needed to flesh it out.
Agreed. The architecture was sound. The interior decorating just hadn't happened yet. So let's look at the foundation. The first major segment is titled Casino Combat Core Koncepts.
This is the holy grail, Kyle. This is where he defines what casino combat actually means.
And he defines it with a metaphor that I did not expect. He does not compare it to war.
No, he compares it to wrestling?
Amateur wrestling. Let's listen to the definition.
Okay, Kyle. Casino combat. For 6 years, I thought it meant war. I pictured TRG in camo storming the beaches of the Bellagio.
A logical assumption. Combat implies destruction.
But in episode 1, he corrects us immediately. He says, not so much in the war sense, but more like in an amateur wrestling sense.
It is a brilliant distinction. In war, you kill the enemy. If you destroy the casino, the game ends. You have no place to play.
Right. He says he needs the casino. He wants to exploit them, but he needs them to be a willing partner.
And to prove that partnership, he lays out the core concepts. But Katie, the syntax.
Oh, the wording is so awkward. It's like listening to someone read a legal contract for the first time.
It is legacy code. The logic is there, but the variables are not optimized. Let's audit the list, item by item.
Okay, item number 1.
Quote, learn to play a casino game that has a minimum house advantage.
Minimum house advantage? Who talks like that?
A textbook from 1990. Today we say low house age. It's snappy. It's efficient. Minimum house advantage sounds like something Thurston Howe III would say.
It really does. Maybe that's what he was going for. He had been locked down a while. He sounds so serious. But the logic holds. He means blackjack, craps, baccarat.
Correct. He just hadn't found the branding yet. Item number 2. Learn a betting strategy that includes both progressive and regressive concepts.
Okay, that's a mouthful. But that is the DNA of the show, isn't it?
Absolutely. Progressive is pressing your bets when you win. Regressive is pressing after a loss or a series of losses. Even in episode 1, he knew that you cannot just flat bet and you cannot just martingale. You need a hybrid.
He was just finding the language, the vibe. I know we will get there, but I remember around episode 22, he kind of found his stride a bit.
Branding matters. Item number 3. Have money, a bankroll of money that you can afford to lose, and that is large enough for the bets that you've decided you're going to make.
He is really trying to make sure we understand what money is.
He is over-explaining. He is struggling to define risk of ruin without using the term risk of ruin. He is saying, don't bring $50 to a $25 table, but he takes 20 words to say it.
Item number 4 was short and sweet, though.
Get a player's card from the casino.
Boom. Simple. The most important tool in the box, and he nailed it.
And finally, item number 5. This is the exit strategy, and this is where the math gets fascinating.
He proposes a specific rule. Play until you win a set amount, and he suggests $150. Or if you lose 2/3 of your buy-in, about $100, you leave.
$150 win, $100 loss.
It sounds so small, Kyle. $150? That's dinner. That's not casino combat.
It is a salary.
Explain.
He runs the projection. If you do this 4 times a week, winning $150 3 times and losing $100 once, you profit $18,200 a year.
Okay, when you put it like that, that's a decent side hustle.
It is grinding. It is the definition of the blue-collar approach. He says explicitly, the numbers are an illustration. If 150 isn't enough, just add a 0.
The logic scales, but it relies on one thing, discipline. You have to leave when you hit the number.
And that is the hardest part. The amateur wrestler knows when the match is over. The gambler stays until he gets pinned.
Speaking of getting pinned, he finished this segment with a story about the ultimate willing partner.
The briefcase story.
He says if you win big enough, like $100,000, they don't get mad. They give you a free briefcase to carry the cash home.
Because they assume you will bring it back. They own the math. But TRG was teaching us, even back then, to own the transaction.
So we have the core concepts locked in. Now we open the book.
The Book of Casino Wisdom.
But in episode 1, the book was empty. It was just a blank binder he bought at Staples.
Correct. He defines the term for the very first time here. Knowledge plus experience put into action.
It's a solid definition. But then he introduces us to the man who inspired it. Wisdom number 1 comes from a guy named Gabriel.
Right, Gabriel. I had forgotten about him until we listened back. It begs the question, is he still operational?
I was wondering the same thing. Is he a member of the inner circle now? Does he know who Racer X is? Or did he just fade into the casino mist?
Unknown, but his contribution to the dataset is permanent. He provides the first ever case study in variable tolerance.
And it sounds like a nightmare session. TRG describes Gabriel being in literal combat. He plays blackjack for hours, he loses his buy-in, he claws back. He loses again, he claws back again.
That is the nuance we missed the first time. To claw back from almost zero repeatedly over several hours, Gabriel didn't just win $10. He likely won thousands of dollars in gross chips during that session.
Right. He was hitting blackjacks, he was winning double downs, he won a ton of money.
He just won it at the wrong time. He won it when he was in the hole. He used thousands of dollars of winnings just to repair the damage.
It's the Sisyphus effect. You roll the boulder up the hill, it rolls back down. Finally, the shoe ends. He hits a split, a double, and a blackjack. He counts his chips, and after all that sweating, all that money flowing back and forth, what did he have?
He secured a net profit of $10.
$10 after hours of literal combat.
And TRG calls it a victory.
And you know what? He's right. Because the alternative wasn't zero. The alternative was losing the rent money.
Precisely. Gabriel recognized the session limit. He realized this is as good as it gets today. He took the $10. He survived.
Good for you. That's wisdom. It really sets the tone for everything that follows. We aren't here to bankrupt the casino. We're here to win the transaction, even if the transaction is just enough to buy a sandwich.
A sandwich is a tangible asset, Katie. But speaking of assets, TRG was about to risk a lot more than $10.
Oh boy, the travel segment, the pandemic road trip. So we have the math, we have the wisdom, but now we have the mission.
The re-entry protocol.
It is May 2020. The world is terrified. Everything is closed. But TRG hears a rumor.
Intelligence gathered from the newsfeed. A nearby state is opening its casinos.
And he is desperate to get out of the house. His local casino is still shut down, or just bad. So he targets a property 2 hours away, a place where he used to be a big shot.
But he hasn't been there in years. He explicitly states, "They don't know me anymore. I have no stroke."
So what does he do? He books a room, full price.
This is the moment where the strategy shines. Most people would say, "I'm not booking a trip. What if it's unsafe? What if I get sick?"
TRG checks the fine print.
Cancellation policy, 3 p.m. the day of arrival, no penalty.
He calls it no harm, no foul. It's brilliant. He isn't committing to staying. He is committing to driving.
It is an option play. He purchases the right to stay, but not the obligation.
And listening to his safety protocol is fascinating. It's like a military checklist.
Step 1, drive to the property. Step 2, visual inspection of the parking lot and the line.
If it looks like a hot mess, he leaves. He turns the car around and drives home. Cost? Gas money.
Step 3, inspect the lobby. If unsafe, abort.
Step 4, check in. Go to the room. If the casino floor looks scary,
retreat to the bunker. He says he is perfectly happy to watch a pay-per-view, eat the food we brought, and at least we got out of the house.
He was willing to drive 2 hours just to eat a sandwich in a different room.
That is a victory, Katie. In May 2020, changing your wallpaper was a luxury, but the real goal wasn't the sandwich.
It was the algorithm.
Correct. He says, if it is safe, I want to start building that relationship back up.
He's playing 4D chess. He knows that if he shows up now, when the casino is desperate for players,
in a few months, the free stuff will start rolling in. He is seeding the ground. He is willing to take a loss today, or just break even, to guarantee the comps for the rest of the year.
The long game. He was playing it from day one.
And that, Katie, is why we are still listening 6 years later. The audio quality was rough. The microphone was cheap. But the logic?
The logic was pure gold.
Is that it? I have one more item on my list.
We do. The first ever virtual VIP lounge. I can't wait.
Let's go hear Chris Jericho say a little bit of the bubbly for the first time. I feel like it's gotten shorter over the years.
Okay, we have arrived at the final stop of the time machine, the virtual VIP lounge. And honestly, after reliving the pandemic for the last hour, I need a drink. I'm pouring myself a quarantini.
A logical choice for the era.
What about you, Kyle? You usually stick to Fiji, but since this is a special occasion, did you mix it up?
Affirmative. For this deep dive, I have acquired a bottle of Svalbardi. It is water harvested from icebergs in the Arctic Circle.
You are drinking melted icebergs?
It is the purest water on Earth, Katie. But at $100 a bottle, it can be tough on the bankroll. Cheers.
Cheers, you bougie architect. Now, let's talk about the vibe. In episode 1, for the first time, we hear a little bit of the bubbly.
And it never gets old. It was a looser, more chaotic energy. He invites us to pretend we're sitting in some great lounge, because in reality, we were all sitting in our living rooms.
But the story he told, it's a classic. It is the legend of the broken single-deck game.
It is a case study in casino incompetence.
Set the scene, Kyle. Las Vegas, early 90s. The Mirage just opened.
But TRG isn't at the Mirage. He is at a tiny, low-rent casino. He finds a single-deck blackjack game with a $2 minimum.
$2? You can't even tip the waitress for $2 anymore.
But here is the flaw. The casino got greedy. To maximize revenue, they squeezed 8 betting spots onto the table.
And you don't need to be the architect to know that 8 spots times 2 cards, plus the dealer, that's half the deck gone in one hand.
Correct. The penetration was absolute. The pattern was fixed. Shuffle, deal 2 rounds, shuffle.
TRG realized he didn't even need to count cards. He just had to look at the table. If all the aces came out, bet $2. If the aces stayed in,
bet $15. It was a force multiplier. And the best part, he brought Mrs. TRG into the scheme.
I love this. They go to dinner, he explains the math, and she says, I don't need to know the math. I'll just do what you do.
She acted as a mirror protocol. When he bet big, she bet big. They effectively doubled their chances on the advantaged hands.
They bought in for $60, $30 each.
And they walked out with over $1,200.
That is a 2,000% ROI.
It funded a room service feast. It was their first big win. And it proves the ultimate rule. You don't beat the casino by cheating. You beat them by paying attention.
He said, I often wonder if that game isn't there anymore because I showed them it was broken.
A high probability. TRG fixed the glitch by taking their money.
God, I love that story. It's the perfect way to end the audit. The audio was scratchy, the world was scary, but the strategy...
The strategy was sound.
And it still is.
The engine is stable, and the logic is verified. As the Great One always says, the house owns the math. We own the transaction.
If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit your state-specific helpline. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.
2026 Volcanic Dingo LLC. All rights reserved. Execute the plan, trust the core concepts, stay out of the noise, and always spell concepts with a K.
I hope you understand he was born a rambling man. Goodbye, everyone.